In the currency quadrant today, for the second day in a row, the British pound really is the story. Up almost 3% on the highs, biggest one-day jump of the year. We had a 2.4% move in early March, but outside of that, we have not had a move like that. It was interesting the way it developed. There's obvious reasons why it happened. We got a giant jump up to that 2.9% level, 2.93% jump from yesterday's close. And then we essentially sold off the rest of the day, finishing up 1.5% approximately. Again, still a very large jump, but that big one-day jump came from yesterday's close to the highs. It wasn't yesterday's close to today's close. That wasn't quite as significant. The Conservative Party victory by Boris Johnson, that's the big news. Not only did he win Prime Minister, which was expected, but there was a little bit of early exit polling that suggested a hung parliament, but what we got instead was another confirmation that exit polling just isn't that reliable. What is being called by the UK media as a crushing victory by the Conservative Party. Boris Johnson now has the majority he needs to move ahead with Brexit, either with the agreed upon deal that was already talked about prior to the snap election, or some other sort of deal, or potentially a hard Brexit. But at least in this particular case, UK British pound investors know that there is going to be a Brexit, and that's what the rally is. It's not necessarily that Brexit is good for the pound or for the UK economy. That remains to be seen, but it is certainty that there's going to be Brexit. There's not going to be a second referendum on Brexit with this particular Prime Minister and his Conservative majority. And lastly, going into next week, there is a Bank of England monetary policy meeting. It is Mark Carney's last meeting, so it'll be interesting to see what his statements are, knowing that there's going to be a Brexit, because something he has talked about is that the uncertainty of Brexit kind of left the Bank of England hamstrung. They kind of had their hands tied behind their back as to what they should do, not knowing what the situation was going to be. Mark Carney, not only it being his last meeting, but having the certainty that there will be a Brexit, may have a lot to say about that. Could be some activity and volatility in the pound next week.